Picture this: you're playing a game or watching a movie, and suddenly you're struck by how incredibly realistic everything looks. Shadows, reflections, lighting, everything seems to be behaving just like it would in the real world. That's ray tracing at work. Though ray tracing is commonly referenced in PC gaming, Microsoft's Xbox Series X and Sony's PlayStation 5 also have the necessary hardware and a growing library of games that support it. Ray tracing is a technique that works well for illuminating a computer-generated scene. The concept is not new. What is new is having and reach the computing muscle to pull it off efficiently. It is a process that simulates the behavior of light in the real world to create stunningly photorealistic computer-generated images. By tracing the path of light rays as they interact with objects in a 3D scene, ray tracing can calculate how they are reflected, refracted, or absorbed. The result? Mind-blowing visuals that are as close to reality as possible. Before ray tracing, most games and movies used a technique called rasterization, which essentially projects 3D objects onto a 2D plane, resulting in a flat, cartoon-like appearance. But with ray tracing, everything looks and feels more natural and immersive. So how does it work, you ask? Let me explain. Imagine a virtual camera positioned in a 3D scene. From there, rays of light are traced back to their source, such as a light bulb or the sun. These rays bounce off objects in the scene, and the reflections and refractions are calculated in real time to create a stunningly realistic image. But ray tracing isn't just about reflections and refractions. It also involves advanced lighting techniques, such as global illumination and ambient occlusion, which allow for accurate shadowing and the simulation of indirect lighting. Animated films have been using ray tracing for decades. Pixar's Toy Story, for example, brought it into the limelight in 1995, and great strides in rendering have been made since then. For about as long as the film industry has been using ray tracing, however, video games have relied on a different technique, rasterization, for rendering 3D worlds. But, before we get to the reasons behind that, let's contrast ray tracing with rasterization. Rasterization is an object-based approach to scene rendering. Each object is painted with color first, then logic is applied to show only the pixels that are closest to the eye. By contrast, ray tracing colors the pixels first, then identifies them with objects later. Now, you may be thinking, wow, this sounds incredible, but won't it slow down my computer? And you're right, calculating the behavior of light rays in real time can be quite demanding on a computer's hardware. But fear not, because NVIDIA's RTX graphics cards have been specifically designed to accelerate the ray tracing process and provide a significant performance boost compared to previous graphics cards. RTX branded card, the GeForce RTX 2060 or RTX 3080, for example, utilize a proprietary graphics rendering implementation that NVIDIA broadly refers to as RTX. This implementation can use DirectX 12, and more specifically its DirectX ray tracing API that is the DXR to render out light paths in the game engine. RT cores, which are specialized for crunching the math of light rays, help any graphics card, AMD or NVIDIA branded, run DXR faster, but DXR doesn't need RT cores to run. Currently, ray tracing support in games is somewhat polarizing because the feature must be implemented separately for AMD and NVIDIA cards. More games support NVIDIA cards mainly because NVIDIA was the only one producing ray tracing capable graphics cards until 2020, but more games are starting to support both flavors. Examples of the latter include Cyberpunk 2077, Dirt 5, Godfall, and World of Warcraft, Shadowlands. Despite the limited applications of ray tracing in today's games, it's here to stay. The technology is advancing rapidly, and we can expect to see even more exciting developments in the future of computer graphics. So there you have it, the story of ray tracing and how it's changing the game and the world of computer graphics. From realistic reflections to accurate lighting, this technology is taking us closer to the visual realism we've always dreamed of. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more knowledgeable content.